Auburn's basketball team, Craig, score more points against Arkansas than the football team did Saturday.
Absolutely, as long as Cam Newton's playing on the floor.
Hey, they could use him in post for Tony Barbee in his first year.
This isn't your father's Heisman race. Modern-day flooded media coverage has quickened the news cycle of Heisman campaigns, and that's a good thing. No player has benefited more from that than Auburn's Cam Newton. The unbeaten big man is #1 nationally in yards per attempt. He's #4 overall as a rusher. And keep in mind, a year ago, Cam was playing at junior college, but there's precedent for a Heisman winner who didn't accomplish much prior. In 1964, Notre Dame's John Hewitt won the Heisman. In the 2 seasons before, he only saw the field for 50 combined minutes. Likewise, Cam Newton needed no foundation. As with Hewitt, it helps to be a star quarterback contending for a title at a prominent program. Let's get right to our 4 tiers. Newton's on top, while Michael James had the week off. And as for the nearly flawless Kellen Moore, no quarterback in the past decade finished the season with a higher passer rating than Kellen currently has. So which 3 would ESPN's official Heisman voters put on their ballots if they voted today? For the first time all year, we don't hear the name Denard Robinson. Instead, the survey showed overwhelming support for Newton, Moore, and James. However, watch out for the guy on top of our next tier. Oklahoma's DeMarco Murray is coming on strong. He's tied for the national lead with 13 touchdowns. Murray tops the players who are on the move. Oklahoma State's Justin Blackmon also has 13 touchdowns. Gabbard will be discussed if Mizzou keeps winning, and it was a very strong bounce back for Wisconsin's John Clay. The Party Crashers, impressive long shots. Hunter and Broyles are having great seasons, just not as good as their own teammates. Then there's Nebraska's Taylor Martinez. For 2 weeks, we heard the hype. Against unranked Texas, it all came crashing down. The 4th tier of Heismanology is where no one wants to be, stiff-armed. Martinez is now there. Also being stiff-armed, Terrell Pryor. He couldn't afford a loss, nor could Colin Kaepernick. And both Mallett and Foles injured, stalling out their campaigns. So here's our must-watch games. Thursday night, you see Michael James in action. Saturday night, Oklahoma's DeMarco Murray is opposite unbeaten Mizzou. But how about the long shot for an invite to New York? Oklahoma State's Justin Blackmon leads the nation in receiving yards. He now faces Nebraska's talented defense. With this week's Heismanology, I'm Joe Tessitore.
Which of these preseason Heisman frontrunners is having the best season? 45% saying Andrew Luck. That's just from this group, though, of Andrew Luck, Ryan Mallett coming back from a concussion, and Terrell Pryor coming off the first loss of the season.
At Arkansas, Ryan Mallett practicing well, says he feels, quote, great, no after effects. He was knocked out with a concussion of Arkansas's loss to Auburn. Ole Miss will take on the Hogs this week. Tyler Wilson, his backup, played so well. Maybe Mallett figured, I better get back in there. This Wilson guy is a terrific backup.
Let's start to break down some of those big developments from Week 7, starting with that shootout. Auburn beats Arkansas 65-43. First time those 2 teams ever met, with both being ranked. That final score sets a record for the most points ever in a regulation game in SEC history. Over 1,000 yards between the 2 teams. What do you take away from that one?
I'm starting to, when we say we expect the unexpected, is the SEC a defensive conference? Do we even play defense anymore? This ball game, maybe not. Yeah, going into the game, we thought there's a lot of good defenses in the SEC, and there are. There's also a lot of really good offenses right now. They're scoring more points per game. 6 teams scoring 30 points or more in this conference right now per game. That's impressive. But in this ball game, the 2 showpieces were the quarterbacks. Well, one of them goes down, and Ryan Mallett, and who steps up? Tyler Wilson. They don't miss a step really with him in there. If it weren't for the 2 picks late, it was almost a perfect performance. 15 of his first 17 passes, 4 for 5 in the first half for a touchdown. The way he stepped in allowed it to be a shootout. Otherwise, you're talking about one of the most dangerous offensive weapons in Cam Newton for the Auburn Tigers. You lose Ryan Mallett, you would think Arkansas would fade away. Tyler Wilson kept it in all the way to the end.
And it certainly speaks to the excellence of all of the pieces around Ryan Mallett every week. Elsewhere in the SEC West, Arkansas quarterback Ryan Mallett continues to recover from a concussion he sustained Saturday in the loss at Auburn. He missed the entire second half after suffering a blow to the head and his non-throwing shoulder. Redshirt sophomore Tyler Wilson replaced Mallett, 4 touchdowns, but also 2 costly interceptions. And now the 23rd ranked Razorbacks are preparing for a home date against Ole Miss. SEC West battle. You know, obviously Jeremiah Masoli and Cameron Newton have different tools, different school sets, but Ole Miss is bringing to Arkansas another one of those dual-threat quarterbacks to challenge the Razorbacks' defense. What kind of adjustments are they going to make after what they learned last weekend?
Well, Ole Miss runs the football much like what Auburn did to Arkansas last week. Now, you look at this game versus Alabama, 40 attempts from Jeremiah Masoli. That's not the recipe for success versus an Arkansas pass defense that's not that bad. But the challenge for them is going to be slowing down the Ole Miss running game, because going into that Alabama squad, they were the #1 scoring offense. They have an opportunity and the potential to put up points as well. So it's not as if they couldn't stay with them in a shootout. The question is, can Arkansas slow down an Ole Miss running game where Brandon Bolden's looked better, Jeremiah Masoli's settled in a little bit? Obviously, Arkansas's defense is not Alabama's defense. It starts with the run game for Ole Miss, and everything platforms off of that.
Let's talk about Arkansas's offense. The passing offense for Arkansas is pacing the conference by almost 100 yards per game. What about the Hogs' running attack?
What about the Hogs running attack? I mean, they want it to be there. They wish it would be there. I think maybe they have a chance to get things going this week. When you have a team that's that lopsided, one aspect of their offense versus the other, they pass the football so very well at Arkansas, and they should. That's where the bulk of their talent is. But it's not as if there's a dearth of talent in the backfield as well. Nile Davis, Broderick Green, Ronnie Wingo, they're all weapons in the backfield. And even last year, Florida defense is pretty good against the rush. Arkansas found a way to get a 100-yard rusher with Dennis Johnson. So there's a chance for them to get going. They want to be multidimensional, though, because we saw that versus Auburn. If you got a backup quarterback in there, he starts throwing turnovers, it hurts your chances for victory.
Houston Nutt now in his 3rd season at Ole Miss and has done a marvelous job with back-to-back Cotton Bowls. Bobby Petrino, boy, what a difference he is. An offensive genius. I really enjoy watching his offenses perform. Just a tremendous offensive mind, and certainly has Arkansas playing at a high level, but knows and mentioned at our meetings how important this game is.
Yeah, he really did. I mean, both teams, I think, recognize the importance of this game when you start talking about the postseason.
Ole Miss wins the toss. They decide to take the football, and the kick sails into the end zone. Jesse Grandy will take a knee, so Ole Miss will bring it out to the 20-yard line. Offensive line in the last 8 games for the Rebels. Here's Bolden trying to pick up a couple of yards and won't get it. Back to the line of scrimmage, Rudell Krim. And Ole Miss now at the 28. Masoli under center. Jeremiah stands in the pocket. That pass nearly picked off.
From free safety, and now is playing outside linebacker. He's kind of that Steve Atwater type at 6'4", 237 pounds. His favorite Razorback is built a lot like Atwater, who I had a chance to play with. You talk about a big-time athlete and a good football player for a long time. Steve Atwater was it.
Devin Thomas in at tailback. Bolden offset to the right. Masoli hit as he throws. They say loose football, and Arkansas has it at the 35. The big hit came from Jake Beckett. Andre.
Hey, you see Jake Beckett here just kind of get outside and underneath, and right there around the left tackle, Bradley Sowell. And right here, going for the football. Smart play to go up top.
Under center. Sling it again. Throw back the other way. Pass is caught. DJ Williams. He's got a lot of room. Down to the 20-yard line. Brought down by Damian Jackson. A flag comes in late. A 46-yard pickup.
Look at this athletic play right here. Knowing where your personnel is, and goes backside to DJ Williams, who
tight ends. Tailback is Davis. Davis gets the handoff. Easily crosses the goal line from 2 yards away. Untouched, and the Hawks have a 6-0 lead.
Watch board number 44 right there on the end. Just kind of washes everything down.
What a block.
And allows Nile Davis. Program in Houston, Westfield High School.
Bolden gets it back to the line of scrimmage.
Imagine after we saw last week, 43-0 for Georgia.
Wingo Jr. out over the 40 to the 45-yard line. Tailbacks. Arkansas has And this is just one of them right here.
Yeah, you see big Alvin Bailey, the right guard, get out in front along with Von Steumann, and boy, they are just opening some holes in running backs.
You know, the last couple of games averaging 135 yards on the ground. Mallett stands tall, throws a bullet, passes caught. Joe Adams inside the 25.
That's what they want to do after they run the football and have some success. It's this: play action, show it in there, hold the linebackers, and create some holes down the field because the linebackers cannot drop deep. Joe Adams, a playmaker down the field for Ryan Mallett.
Williams, the tight end in motion. With throw, looking for the end zone. Passes caught. Give him 6. Greg Childs, nice grab, 23 yards, and it's 13-0, just like that.
Played a lot of football. Nice job of freezing the corner Marcus Temple at the line of scrimmage.
Of the season overall.
Boy, great grab by Greg Childs, and it's looking easy for the Razorbacks. 14-0. Yeah, the wind's blowing big time.
Boy, good high kick. Sends Grandy back to the 5. He calls a fair catch at the 3.
Young player making a big mistake in a big football game on the road. Let that one bounce, go into the end zone, get the football on the 20-yard line. Corner to that side working against Melvin Harris. But I'd love it if they change that rule.
I got to be honest with you. We see that type of play every Saturday without a flag. I'm not saying that's not a violation. I'm just saying we see that a lot with no flag.
Fair catch inside the 5-yard line.
Here's Bolden. Nothing happening for Brandon again. It's just been a tough slide. Whether it's Jeff Scott, Brandon Bolden, or Rodney Scott, there's just nowhere to run.
Quarterback sneak with Jeremiah Masoli here.
Run a little option to the near side. Scott swarmed and dropped for a 2-yard loss.
Too much
away for the Rebels. Joe Adams stands deep for the Hogs. It's a good tight spiral. Adams backpedals to the 5. Joe's got a lot of room. He's got blocks. Joe Adams will take it all the way. Touchdown Hogs. 86 yards. Are you kidding me?
For the home run here, and you wonder, what is he catching the football inside the 10 for? Well, if you got this kind of playmaking ability, it's okay with Bobby Petrino, and he's going to get a nice block right there by Riddell Krim on the punter, which sets him free to the end zone.
For Arkansas this year, and Chris Warren for Ole Miss, as good as any guard this league will put on the floor.
Good. There's nowhere for Masoli to go. He loses 3 on the play. Leon, they do with it. Out of the Wildcat, it's Bolden. We'll try to break it off to the left side. Being chased by 3, 4, 5 Arkansas jerseys. He loses a yard. Masoli back at quarterback in the shotgun. Masoli will keep it in. Nothing happening. Jeff Scott to the 5 and stop there. Gain of a yard. Byron Jones makes the tackle.
They got to take some shots. I mean, they're gonna try to put some points on the board here with a field goal, but that last run, I think I'd take a shot with Masoli and get somebody, get him spread out, and at least if nothing's there, he's got a chance with his legs and his playmaking ability running the football to maybe crack and maybe break a tackle and get in the end zone. But I don't like the series of calls there by Houston Nutt. That's almost unheard of. 3 guys return to your offensive line that are 3-year starters.
Now Davis. First down and a lot more out of the 35 to the 36-yard line.
He has in practice show up on Saturdays.
82 yards 2 weeks ago, over 90 last week. Mallett throws a bullet to midfield. Passes caught. Julian Horton, the true freshman out of Norcross, Georgia. They have a 21-0 lead. Ryan Mallett locked back in. This one to Greg Childs. 21-3.
Deep, and Ryan Mallett does a nice job just dropping the football off.
Little inside handoff. That's almost 10 yards.
Arkansas's offense.
A toss sweep out of the eye. Big block by the fullback. Van Stumen again. The 7-yard pickup.
It's supposed to happen to a guy 280 pounds. Watch this. Fights off the block, but then the big fullback who's all at 266.
Right. Mallett stand in that pocket. Here's Joe Adams. Joe Adams pulled down from behind. I don't think there was any.
Well, the smaller, quicker receivers to come underneath, and Mallett does a nice job with his eyes, with zone coverage, to take the defenders deep. Then you get the football in a playmaker's hands like Joe Adams, and that was ugly the way he kind of finished that.
Russellville, 5 out of 6 on the year. Low snap, kick is on the way. This 46-yarder is good. He has a couple of 48-yarders. The Hogs pick up 3 in the third quarter. Their lead is 24-3.
This game, they had some success late in the first half doing it.
Right out of the gates, they do throw it and bat it in the air, incomplete. Opening drive and put 6 on the board. 63 yards. It's 24-10. Thank you very much, Dar. Getting a little exciting here in Fayetteville. Flag down the middle of the line as Jeff Scott is popped right at the line of scrimmage. Touchdown pass to Jamez Logan. And Ole Miss has a little bit of mojo here. But this Arkansas defense has just not.
That is tough. A tough way to make a living today.
Masoli under pressure, throws it back, looking for Bolden. That is incomplete, and it will subside, and it will come back.
Within a 6-mile radius, therefore we are suspending play at this time. Both teams will go to the locker room.
And in at quarterback, Masoli split to the near side. Here's Grandy in motion. Little reverse. Mazzoli being chased down. He's going to have to throw it back to Grandy. It was wide open. Little fake. Here's Lionel Bro. He needs 6 yards, and that got him out.
Baby, you'll see it right here. Right here, the front side, he's kind of outnumbered, and you got the punter as a pitch man. When they go backside, Jake Burkett is sitting right there waiting on things.
Fourth quarter issues this season. See if they can improve on that. Brandon Bolden met by Anthony Leon. Masoli stands in the pocket. Now he spins right into some trouble. Brought down back at the 38-yard line. Last week, of course, 25 of 34, 332, 4 TDs. Niall Davis. Look at Davis go. Davis is to midfield. It's a foot race. Look at the speed from Niall Davis. He will score. 71 yards.
And come free on you, and it's all about angles. Right there, Johnny Brown, the safety, takes a bad angle. It's going to come into your screen. You'll see it right there. Now, right about here, that's the bad angle first from Johnny Brown. Now there's an angle by Alan Walker, but he doesn't have the speed. Niles Davis just eats the angle up, and for the last time Arkansas had a stable of backs that were this good, it was Darren McFadden right here showing you the speed. Kind of like Niles Davis at 1 digit right there, number 5 instead of number 7. And then Felix Jones, another guy who can turn the corner and hit the home run for you. Right there, through defenders, make you miss, eat up an angle, and get you 6 points. 2 pretty good ones right there.
Now, those guys could play a little bit. Just a little bit. Scott, nowhere to go. He loses a couple. Tremaine Thomas with the tackle. As the rain is starting to settle in nicely.
Play again. Both teams will go to the locker room.
So about Ryan, we don't know if it's a situation where it is some lingering effects from a concussion last week at Auburn. He was sacked a couple of times right before we went to our first delay, but didn't look like it bothered him very much. I mean, he didn't get up and look like he was woozy or limping or anything like that. So it's one of those things where you just don't know. Wilson throwing it up in the air. Flag down. Pass is caught by Jarius Wright. Knocked out of bounds at the 28, an 18-yard pickup. He can pick up the flag because he'll take the yardage. You're right. 4. Bobbled snap. Handoff goes to Davis. He's to the 10. Touchdown, Arkansas. 22 yards. That didn't take long.
Not at all. I mean, this kid's a player. Another missed tackle by Justin Smith, number 93, had him wrapped up or had a hand on him, and still calling him up.
Hand off to Scott. Nowhere to go. He is dropped for a 3-yard loss. Jericho Nelson with his 8th stop of the afternoon.